I want to just give you a brief explanation of how I build the tab for this particular bag to handle my hardware. As you can see, the hardware, even when I put the screws in and everything, there's going to be a little bit of a gap here. Not even a little bit of a gap. Oops. This gap is about a quarter of an inch. So, well, yeah. Yeah, it's a quarter of an inch. So what I have to do is fill in this space so that my closure will be solid. It won't move around and fill up the space nicely and look like this hardware looks like it belongs there. So I have to build up my tab. One of the ways you can build up your tab is by using foam. I have two different types of foam. This is one I got here at Joann's. It's about almost 3/8, almost 3/8 thick. And when you use it, you're going to press down like this when you're turning over it so that when it expands, it has a nice tight feel. And it also gives the leather a really nice feel. The other one is like, I guess this is open air. I would say this is closed. And it's far more condensed, really solid. Could be used padding for shoulder when you're doing the shoulder strap and you want it to be soft, or you have a little width on it and you want it to be soft. It's like a slider or something. And you can use this, and it doesn't give that much, but it fills up the space. So those are my choices. And this pattern here is because I'm going to be turning it to get nice finished edges. This is my leather. And this piece here, I'm going to cut this out. This is a 015 Bontex. And as you can see, it moves rather nicely. And I'm going to be putting the lining with the second piece of my underneath piece of leather. I'm going to be attaching it to it because I need that stay. The thing about these foams are that this one's really going to be kind of hard to cut this shape out to get my holes in there really nicely. And of course, this is my outside pattern. So I'm going to cut the foam from my stay pattern so that the leather can be turned around my stay to get the finished edges. If you end up using some hardware that's thick like this or has that type of an opening, you may want to consider using some type of foam to fill up that space if you're not using a really, 4 or 5 ounce leather or something really thick that's going to fill up that space. So that's what I'm doing here. And so I have to cut out these little areas out of my stay so that my hardware will fit within the space that it needs. And then I'll use my punch to punch out the little holes that go here. And that is how I'm going to build this tab. And if you have hardware that has that gap, then this is something you may want to try to fill it in. And when I'm finished putting all this together, you'll see how it looks. I'm hand skiving this piece of leather, and I've been doing hand skiving for quite a while. Every leather actually skives a little different. So if you haven't done this, I would suggest that you make your tabs out of fabric. And as with all our classes, the patterns work for leather and fabric. So there's no, this is a leather or fabric pattern only. Okay, so I got that. Just gotta do this little piece here. It's very easy to mess up your leather doing this. And after a lot of money spent on messing up leather, I got it down to where I'm pretty efficient at it. There are other tools you could buy to do this, but this is the one that's most readily available. Notice I don't pull it toward me. I go at a little angle. Okay. All right, that's good enough. So let me clean up this mess, and then we'll put this together. Next thing we want to do is apply a little glue to our leather so that we can turn it around. And this piece here will basically be our lining for our tab. This is going to be a solid glue to the tab. You really don't want it to separate. On the top one you can have that separation, but on the lining you want it to stay in place. So we're going to give this a second to dry. And then we'll put it down and go from there. Well, I think it's dried enough. It's tacky. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Just trying to get it centered and in between my notches. That looks good right there. Okay, we got that. And even though it's a little off, I can trim that out. And this is going to be the lining of our flap. Sometimes I like to, while the glue is setting, just give it a little, because it's going to be bending like that, so give it a little bend to relax it a little bit. Okay, I've already done my top. So I'm going to go over here like this and give it a turn, and hopefully my cut will end up okay as I cut away my corners. Then take my trusty old butter knife, and you like to, you're going to see me do something here. I'm going to press down on this as much as I can. Now, let's see what I can, let's see, maybe it doesn't make so much difference. With this type of closed. That's nice. This corner is not the best, but we may be able to get it in there, close it up a little bit. There we go. So here's the makings of our flap. And then we're going to do the same here. Let me put a little glue on this. Okay. Go ahead and turn this. Now this is a 015 Bongtex I'm using here. 012 will work. Oh, 15 is good. And there we go. So now hopefully everything is in the same place. And this will be our fat tab. I might even trim some of the back, because technically, because they're bending, sometimes it's better to make one smaller than the other one. So I may trim maybe just about 1/8 of an inch or something like that off the back here, just so that when I sew it and I put it all together, it'll have just a little bit of a natural bend to it. Let's see if I can save this stay. So I'll just cut off a little bit, and that will give me a slight bend when I match it up. And so I don't want too much, just a little bit to give it a little curve. Maybe about, that looks like about 1/16 there. Oops, shook my overhead camera. Sorry about that. Let's go right there. There we go. And put it back. There we go. Get that down. Get that down. Get that over. So there we go. Then we'll go ahead and I won't even take my protective film off I'll just fit it. Looks like I gotta punch out a hole there to get it to see, and that just fits right in there. But I'll sew it first, just making sure everything is in the right place. Then I'll put this down and go ahead and sew it on the edge there. And put my holes in here. And then we'll put this baby on.